and they have pretty strong first reactions. And so you kind of ride the storm out with them for a little bit and help them see, yeah, you know what, you'll survive, you'll be okay. Let's talk about what we're going to do tomorrow, next week, and help them refocus on what's going on.
So as adults and parents and teachers and administrators, I think there was a time maybe when we were just like, suck it up, it's no big deal, move on.
Come on.
I mean, how, as adults, what's our best way to react when we see either our child or a student maybe starting to exhibit some of these behaviors that we realize they're not going down a good path here, or they're really stressing out?
Right.
What's our best way to react to that?
It's a great question, because I put myself in that category. I'd be one of those guys that, you know what, knock it off, just suck it up, go get out of here. And I'm not sure that's the best way to respond to something like that. But one thing that I know after working with so many teenagers is that something that really helps is for them to feel like they're being heard. Everyone likes to be heard. Everyone likes to be known. And in our day-to-day lives, we can get caught up in very busy schedules and got all kinds of things to do, especially now this time of year with the holidays. So I would offer the advice to parents. It's great when a teenager feels that they can talk to you, and here's the hard part for parents: to not respond. To not want to jump in there and talk and give advice. We have 2 ears and one mouth, which means we should listen twice as much as we talk. And that's hard for parents, because parents want to jump in there and give advice, and we just sometimes need to keep it zipped and listen and look like we're hearing and just be present with the kid consistently, not just one time, over and over and over. You'd be surprised how many kids come to my office and just unload, and I'm just listening and hearing what's going on and giving a little feedback here and there, and then when at the end of the session they get up, man, I feel good. What'd you do?
I feel better.
I just listened. I just listened. And
is it about, as parents or as adults, is it about also validating their feelings? I mean, you don't want to belittle that, well, you can't be feeling that way, or why would you feel it? I mean, it's about validating the fact that whatever issue is causing them to feel the way they do, for them it's a legitimate issue, and as adults I think we need to validate that, and like you said, listen and let them know it's okay. It's okay to feel that way, and we're all here to work with you and help you and support you, and we'll get through it.
Listening skills are a very difficult group of skills to refine. When I was going to grad school, we had a class on nothing but listening, and we worked on listening skills and how to demonstrate how you listen. And none of it involves using your lips. It's maybe a little bit. Some of the words you say for feedback and stuff, but it's a difficult skill that most of us take for granted. Listening, validating, it's very important things to do. If a parent can improve how they listen, I bet you improve communication is going to increase in the home. I guarantee it will happen.
Well, and again, I was going to say that same thing, that at the end of the day, it's about communicating. It's about having a relationship with the child. And I say child, it could be a young adult, but having that relationship that you can talk to them, they can talk to you. There's a comfort level there, and again, you go back to the family, and the ability to sit down and have dinner together, and the ability to talk in the car, and not be on those electronic devices all the time. It's about increasing that communication and knowing that if I do have an issue, I can talk to somebody, parent, grandma, aunt, somebody. But having that person, when they feel like there's nobody to talk to, that's when everything bottles up, and maybe that's what you do a lot of times, is just end up being that person sometimes that they can sit down and talk to, and like you said, unload.
It's like they're balloons, and they get blown up, and all these things happen. They get more pressure. They just need to let it out sometimes. A lot of times.
Let's change gears again a little bit. And can you talk about your, because we have counselors, and some people might be saying, well, why do you need Mr. Blue here when you've got counselors in your buildings? Can you talk about your relationship with the counselors and how that works?
Absolutely, you could say that I work specifically for each guidance counselor in the office. I'm their right or left-hand man, whatever you want to say. When they have someone who might have a specific or intense need for counseling, for mentoring, for listening, they let me know who that is. I meet with them, the student, and I'll spend some time with them and do an assessment and determine if I just need to meet with them a couple times or if I need to keep them for a long time. And I'll report back to the guidance counselors, and Gail Telford too. So I work specifically for them. We're talking every week. Myself, their jobs, they do a little of that, but they have so many more responsibilities. The testing requirements that they have, and managing schedules. And I'm overwhelmed when I see what they do in the buildings. I get overwhelmed. So how can you do what you do and can work with kids? That's crazy. So there's no shortage of work. We could probably use a second counselor here,
absolutely,
like me, and to meet all the needs.
And the counselors are still doing what you do, and they've done it forever.
They have.
I mean, in between all the other things that you talk about that they need to do, they're still doing this type of counseling. They're still counselors, even though they have the scheduling and all the testing and all the other responsibilities, grading and progress book, and they still are doing these kind of counselings. And again, it's just the more intensive ones that I guess end up coming your way.
Sure. Yeah. Very intense, very severe ones that might need long-term, frequent interactions, meetings, and sessions and stuff. So we're I tell you what, it's a great job. I love doing it. There's a great staff here. All the guidance counselors are very intuitive and in tune to the kids, what's going on and what they need. So they're a great resource to work with.
So let's talk about alternative paths for a minute. And again, Mark True is your CEO. I need to say thank you to him. He and I had the opportunity to work together to make sure that this happened, and his relentlessness to say, you know what, there's a need and we want to help fill it. I want to thank him for that. And can you talk about Alternative Paths and what Alternative Paths does?
Sure. Alternative Paths is a nonprofit agency here in Medina County. We have around 50, I think just under 50 people that work for us, different counselors and caseworkers, psychiatrists, and we provide a number of services. Not only do we provide what we do here at Buckeye High School, we have a very large presence in the court system in Medina County. Judge Chase, Judge Kimbler, Judge Collier. We help out in the courts. We service the county's severely mentally disabled. We probably have a caseload of 600 or 700 clients, adults who are severely mentally disabled, and they receive services at our agency there on Northland Avenue. We provide case management services. We do counseling, we provide psychiatry and case management, where we help these individuals, our clients, do the things they need to do to lead a normal life. We're going to help them, transport them, meet with them. We run groups with them. We do individual counseling. We also have a department, the Emergency Services Department, where we provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week crisis intervention services to the county. Not many people know, a few people don't know that if you have a crisis at 3 o'clock in the morning on a weeknight, there's a counselor that you can call and talk to live. It's 330-725-9195 is our number. Get you in touch with a counselor 24 hours a day if you're in crisis. So that's a big part of what we do for the county as well.
And there's a big need for that. I mean, again, I think sometimes people think Medina County, well, they don't have any issues like that, but there are. Those needs and those issues exist in Medina County, and we're fortunate to have an agency like yours that helps to do that. And again, I guess that's important to clarify. You're not an employee of the Buckeye Local Schools.
No, I'm not.
You're an employee of the Alternative Paths.
I am.
And again, through this grant, we are fortunate to have your services here at our school district. As far as somebody might be thinking, well, I think my child needs to see Mr. Blue.
Right.
Process-wise, they need to see their counselor first.
Guidance counselor. Right.
So can you talk about how that works?
Yeah. If there's a parent watching this and they say, oh, my kid, I've got some problems with him and stuff. And so I would recommend to that parent, contact the whatever building your student goes to, contact that guidance counselor and just have that discussion with them. And they can kind of be a filter and let you know what I actually do and the likelihood of how we can help them, and just start that conversation. And if they will get in touch with me, and we'll start the process.
Yeah, because again, you're only one person.
Right.
We have 2,400 kids in this school district.
Correct.
And if every single time a kid had a bad day, they were coming to see you, that might make it tough for you. And that's
right. Yeah.
That's why we start with the counselors first.
Correct.
And they'll kind of do that initial sit-down conversation. Assessment, I guess, would not be too strong a word to use, but they're really trying to determine, what do we have here? Can I help? What are we dealing with? Is this going to be a problem that tomorrow is going to be all better, and because it is an intensive process once you actually get involved. You're not just sitting down and having a conversation. Your assessment is quite lengthy.
It takes, there's a lot of documentation. It's about a 10-page series of questions and information I have to gather on the student, and it requires interacting with the parent as well.
And again, we mentioned it earlier, but I think it's worth mentioning again. Because somebody sees you doesn't mean that they have these mental issues that are going to haunt them forever.
No.
It may just be a temporary issue they're dealing with. That once you work through that issue, they're going to be just fine.
I really don't like the word mental illness.
Yeah.
You have individuals and they meet criteria for certain things. They might meet criteria for being overly anxious and nervous, or depressed and sad and they can't shake it, or their moods are all over the place, and it just helps. It's so distressing to them, and it's like a Polaroid, Polaroid snapshot. That's how they are today, or this week, or this year. Doesn't mean they're going to be that way their entire lives necessarily. They could be gone in a week, in a year. In some cases, it is something that they might deal with throughout the course of their life. So we can help them out with both.
Well, I think as adults, I think if we even just kind of compare it to our own lives, that we all, and with our coping skills as adults and all of our experiences and all of our maturity, we all go through days where we say, I don't know how I'm going to make it through the day, or I don't know how I'm going to make it through the week.
Right.
And when you're a 15, 16, 17-year-old, that is intensified times 10.
I said that yesterday.
See? So, and again, like you said, especially this time of year. Holidays are wonderful, but they certainly are stressful sometimes too, and they are for kids as well.
Right.
Well, I tell you, I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled with United Way, with Alternative Paths. We are an educational institution. At the end of the day, we provide reading, writing, math. Yep. That's what we do.
Yep.
That's what we're here for. But when kids have issues that they're struggling with, we can't get them reading, writing, and math. That's the last thing on their mind. They're not going to be successful in the classroom if they're dealing with these issues. And your being here and helping to deal with some of those issues is making our job and our ability to teach kids better. And hopefully they'll be more successful in what we do by having you here. And we realize that as an educational institution, we can't stick our head in the sand and pretend these issues aren't there. Between bringing you here and working with Alternative Paths, the anti-bully program that we've started this year that I think is going well and has made a difference. We're never going to end bullying, which is a stressor for kids, a huge stressor for kids. But hopefully we've made a little bit of a difference to try to raise awareness with our kids anyway, that if they see it happening, or they'll think twice before they pick on a kid or something like that. So we want to thank Alternative Paths. We want to thank United Way. Anything before we wrap up today that you wanted to mention or that we should mention for our families?
You know what? I would say in this busy time of the year, I've been telling folks and people I run across, take time to just be still and be quiet, and reflect on what you have given to you, and avoid the rat race. Just kind of be still and enjoy.
And enjoy your family. Sit and communicate. Talk to each other.
Slow it down.
Put the games down. Put the phones down. Have a meal together. Go to dinner.
Right. Be present with each other.
And be in touch with each other. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate all that you do here. I know that I hope our community realizes that you're here to help and support our kids, and that's what we're all here to do. So I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you
and
for having
talking to us for a little bit about this. I want to thank our community for tuning in. As always, if you have questions for me or Mr. Blue or any aspect of our school district, please feel free to give us a call. This has been Brian Williams with another episode of The Best of Buckeye, and have a great day.